As Jen said, thank you. My name is Elaine Bonneau. She told you a little bit about my background. I am so glad to be here. I am thankful to Unstoppable You Ministries for having me as part of this. How about the first half of the speakers? Jason, Juliet, Liz. Listen, y'all got me slumping down in my seat. I said, oh no, did I agree to speak with these people? I am not worthy to be on this stage with all of you, but I'm happy about a couple things. I'm happy there was a break in between, and I didn't have to follow any of those directly. I'm also happy that the break was lunch, so y'all not hangry. You're like full bellies. You took good care of us with a delicious lunch, and I'm also glad that I am not following Commissioner Muldrow, because he gonna get up here and light it up. So I'm gonna try to warm you all up for the rest of this afternoon's conference. So I had a chance to meet several of you, and I wish I could have met more. I actually have a vendor table over there. The other business that I have is Garbs for Good. It is a retail business, and we donate 10% of sales to charity. So I thank all of you who supported me. I wish I had gotten a chance to talk to more of you. So, you know, I can see in the room, the people I've met, the people that I know walking in, that y'all are my kind of people. I can just tell by the way you're dressed. You all look beautiful. You're lovely. But okay, I got a couple questions to ask for those of you I didn't get to talk to find out if we can hang. Like, can we be girls? Are you my kind of people? Okay, so men, bear with me, because these questions are mostly for the women. Okay, so how many of you ladies have a makeup bag with, you know, those big cosmetic things with the eyeshadow, and there's like 100 different shades of eyeshadow in it? Okay, so you go to the store, you buy that, you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be looking good, right? You're gonna turn it out. How many of you open that eyeshadow case and there's one eyeshadow that you have like dug out the whole corner? All the other 199 shades are like all perfect, and there's the one that's like, that's my color, and you just keep going in on it. And in that same bag, you have a lipstick. It's your perfect shade, right? Like, all is well with the world. And then they go and discontinue your color. And you're like, Lord Jesus, Revlon, what are you doing to me? So you take that one Revlon lipstick and you run it. You know how you do it and it's cute and it's got the little like angle on it. And you're like, yeah, I'm cute, I'm putting on my lipstick. And then it gets to the end and you know you can't get any more. So then you start going at it like a crayon. And then if you're my kind of people, when it gets to the bottom, and it's so flat that you can't get it to come out, and then you take your little pinky and you go in, because guess what? I'm getting my $9 out of that Revlon lipstick, okay? Okay, so y'all my kind of people, I can tell. Okay, how about this? How many of you all know that there is a right way and a wrong way to put toilet paper on the roll? And the right way is the paper goes over. Wait, no. Yes, it goes over like a waterfall. So when you pull it, you get enough squares. They're there. You don't have to. And how many of you all live in a house where you don't care if it's over or under, you just hope somebody replaces the roll? So it's not 2 a.m. and you stumble into the bathroom in the dark and you're like, there's no squares there. Where are the squares? Okay, y'all my kind of people. Okay, last one. This is a good one, because I see all of you with your big handbags. How many of you would say you could probably survive for 2 days on what you have in your purse? Listen, you could drop me off at Cadoris, and if I got my purse with me, I'm good. I have enough stray peanuts and granola and M&Ms in the bottom of my purse to feed half of you all, I swear. But Jesus is the best teacher, right? Like with the loaves and fishes. And I keep saying to myself, I mean, I know what the Bible says, but I feel like probably that was somebody's mama somewhere said, oh, wait, you need something? I might have 2 loaves. Let me get my purse. I might have I mean, I do read the Bible. I know that's not how it goes, but it could have gone that way, right? Yeah, everything we carry in our purse. So yes, we could feed 5,000 with Tic Tacs, gum, and granola, all in the bottom of my purse. Okay, so let me get serious so I don't get in trouble. I want to talk to you today about owning your inheritance and really the value of your story, because we all have a story, and thank you all for sharing your stories with me this morning. I want to share a little bit of mine and hope to learn more about all of you. So this picture, and I'm not going to go through, Jennifer already did the resume stuff, but I wanted to share this picture. This is from my time with Downtown Inc. working on business development. And it's a picture of a ribbon cutting. And the reason that I was so excited, you would think it was my business, is because it represents 3 generations of business ownership. So the woman standing next to me is Tony, and that's her business partner with this lovely red lipstick on, wearing the black. And then that's Tony's son, who's cutting the ribbon on the restaurant that's named after him. And believe it or not, this lady, I don't know how she looks this good. This is Tony's mom. Yeah, I know. Good genes. So the reason that I wanted to share this picture is because this is part of my story. You know, I was raised by entrepreneurs, and I know what it's like, and I know the struggles that it takes, because I watch my parents around the kitchen table and trying to figure out how to make it work and keep their business afloat. My mom supported my dad in starting and running his business. She also started a school in the inner city of Cincinnati in 1983. And so these kinds of moments mean more to me than, you know, what those bullets say. And I got to stop putting how many years of experience, because y'all can do the math and then figure out how old I am approximately, and that's going to have to stop. So just lots and lots of years of experience. So anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about is your story, as I said. And on the next slide, you'll see where my story begins. So that's me. So I am the youngest of 6, as Jen said, born in Cincinnati. And this is back in the day when you would take all your kids and go to Olin Mills. Did you all have Olin Mills? Okay, you get everybody dressed up. My mom made all of our clothes, dressed us up, took us to Olin Mills. And what you can't see, you see how my face is, everybody, like I'm kind of looking off to the side. That's because my mother is behind the camera. And she kept doing this. You know how they do. She had to get that little right. So that's where my story begins, or does my story begin with this newspaper article that talks about something that happened in 1908, and that was not the day I was born, so don't be smart. And I'll get back to this in a moment. But I had the opportunity, and on the next slide, I'll just share with you, I had the privilege to attend a retreat, and it was hosted by an organization called the Inheritanceproject.org, and I put it down at the bottom in case you want to jot it down. And we talked about what your true inheritance is, right? Because when somebody says inheritance, do you automatically think of the money or the land or what your kids think they're going to get when you're gone? Or do you think about it in a larger sense of your ancestry, your culture, your beliefs, values, stories, all of those things, the perspectives, the shared experiences from past generations, and how that informs who we are and molds who we are? And you know, we talked a little bit about that. You know, Liz touched on it. You know, what influences us, what makes us into a whole person. And so when I went through this exercise and thought about what molded me into the person that I am today, and then what am I going to do with that? How do I share that story and use it for purpose? It was enlightening, but it was also emotional. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I did shed some tears going through that because, as Liz said, Juliet touched on it, Jason touched on it, some of what we inherit is not all positive, right? How many people, just think in your mind, did you inherit a fear of failure that maybe stops you from trying to learn a new language or starting a business, or keeps you in a bad relationship because you don't want people to think you failed at marriage or failed in a relationship? How many people do you know have poor money values and they lack financial discipline? And part of that is what I inherited about how to think about money. Self-hate, that can be inherited. I look at black on black crime. I look at some of the ways, even sometimes in my own family, where family members who were of a lighter complexion would make comments about family members of a darker complexion, and we are the same blood. That is part of my inheritance. So my question to you is, just let's talk a little bit about, what is your story? What is your inheritance? On the next slide. Is it not? But the quote that I wanted to share with you is from Michelle Obama, and she says, "Our story is what we have, what you will always have. It's something you own." And your story also needs to be told by you, right? Because as Juliet said, if we don't shape our own story and we allow other people to shape it, it can be shaped in ways that don't really define us. And so I would just ask you to think about, what your story is. And if I can have a couple minutes, how am I? Am I on green still? I think I'm still on green. A little bit about my story. There you are. Your story is what you have, what you will always have. It's what you own. So a little bit about my story that I think molded me into where I am today. So I started my career in Baltimore, started in advertising. I had an amazing mentor who helped me grow through the ranks that Jennifer talked about. I mean, going from a coordinator to a vice president in 6 years was because I had mentors, I had support, and I had God. Thank God he was looking out for me when I thought I was doing it on my own. And we did great work together. We won big accounts. It was just an amazing time in my career. And then one day, I remember my mentor, Lori, coming in, and she was a dynamo. I mean, you talk about, everybody now has this hashtag girl boss, chicks in charge, all this stuff. She didn't care she was just going to be the boss. But one day she walked in and she was wearing a wig. And see, this is why I brought my tissues. Let me move through this. She was fighting breast cancer, and she lost her battle. And she fought hard. So she lost her battle with cancer in February, and in May of that year, right after Mother's Day, I lost my mom. And you talk about somebody losing their religion. And what I realized is that these women who had formed me and helped shape my story, I was living through them. And I remember sitting at my desk, looking up at the lights in my office as if my mother was going to come down through the fluorescent lights. And I just said, "What's next?" I felt like I was lost. And I remember it was like she said to me, "That was my story. You need to get up and write your story." You can't live my story. I gave you what you needed. Lori gave me what I needed to go and write my own story. And so after that, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pour all my emotion and myself and all my energy into starting my own business. And I did that for years. And you know what? That first business failed. And Liz talked about, and it moved me when she said about being an empty vessel, when things look good on the outside, but they're falling apart on the inside. When you don't do the work on yourself and you look to other people, that's what happens. And so that was a spiritual turning point for me. And I realized the trappings that success can have when you're defined by a title. And that was the moment after being in a dark place and going to networking events like this, and people would ask me, what do you do? And I couldn't say that I had that business anymore. I decided that from here on out, I want to be defined by my character, and I want people to know what I stand for more than what I do for a living. So the story I want to be is when people meet me, they say what I heard someone say to Jennifer, and she didn't know that I heard it. You are such a light-filled, faith-filled person. That's the story I want to have. So I'll just ask you again, what's your story? And if you want to do some of the work, I don't work for the Inheritance Project. As I said, I just had the privilege of going through the exercise with them. I would invite you to look at some of what the work that we did. You know, who are you? What have you inherited? Is it some of the things that I talked about earlier that I feel like were my inheritance? And then what are you going to do with that story, your inheritance? How are you going to use that for purpose? And how does that become really valuable currency that you gift to others? What I learned from Lori as a mentor, from anyone around you who will pour into you, that is a gift. So I think about Jason saying about being a positive influencer and the currency and the inheritance that someone else will get from you being that positive influence. And so today I'm wearing my mom's ring and Lori's pearls. And it doesn't matter that they don't go together. I know they don't go together. But you know what does go together? What gift they gave me to help me create my own next chapter and my own story. Oh, and I'll go back to this magazine article. So this article was written when my grandfather passed away, and it was his obituary. And it was the first time I recall in my young life reading it and not understanding that my grandfather, who was born in 1908, I knew his parents were together, but he didn't have his dad's last name. And my dad had to explain to me that in 1908, if you were in a mixed relationship, the law wouldn't allow in certain places for you to take your father's name. And so that's when I realized what my last name should have been had things been different. And the influence and impact of discrimination and racism and segregation and growing up in Jim Crow South and all of that, and how those experiences influenced how my parents raised me. And so this also became part of my story. So I thank you all for listening and allowing me to share my story with you. And I will tell you something that I realized as I evolved my thinking around this, because I had some bitterness around this. And then I realized what's more important is not his last name, but the fact that he was the first black commissioner in his county in Alabama. And so it really didn't matter what his last name was. What matters is what his story was. Was he a man of faith? Yes, he was a man. Was he a family man? Did he have integrity? Did he work hard? That's what matters. And so with that, I'll just say, I'm in this season of Thanksgiving, I am just so thankful and grateful to be a part of this conference, for you allowing me this time to fellowship with you, this reminder to keep faith first, to fill yourself up, to always seek the next place in your relationship with God, crave Him. And I'm thankful that God is the best of planners, and He is the best author to help you write your story. So thank you all. I know I went over. Yeah. Actually, I'm good with you.